Hello, 5 p.m. So here we go. And public demand was that we cannot do it from outside and take a chance in lives, especially from that water body which separates India and Pakistan. Much like the Wagah border always tense, the wind is so much that our life also became very tense. The sound was a real problem. That is why we have decided that at this point in time we will do from inside. We are about 5 minutes, 5 minutes from the Khetarama Stadium in Ashok's hotel. This is Ashok's room actually, and using his Wi-Fi. So here we go live. The subject that I'm doing, we will obviously give you the changes, the Zimbabwe match, what are the playing 11s expected, the usual to karenge. But the subject that I want to tackle, and this I think is a very, very important subject, is are there winds of change blowing in South Asian politics with the Bangladesh national elections? And does this mean bad news for Pakistan? If you remember, Pakistan lost that vote 14-2 against India, rather the ICC, on the Bangladesh matter. 14 of the ICC board members voted against Bangladesh and Pakistan on the issue. Obviously, it was not a direct issue involving India, as in the BCCI, but the issue was about safety and security on Indian soil, where 14 member countries actually voted in favor of India. Now, interestingly, at that point in time, Bangladesh and Pakistan, what is happening here? Okay. At that point in time, Bangladesh and Pakistan were in an alliance. And that is because the radical faction or the fundamentalist faction was in power in Bangladesh. Now with Tariq Rahman's BNP winning a landslide victory, and if you have seen the tweet from the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, you will understand that the geopolitics of South Asia will undergo a radical change in the coming months. And in that radical change, India and Bangladesh might well become the allies that they were in the past. If you read the tweet from the Indian Prime Minister, you will understand that he's talking about peace and stability in the region. He welcomes and congratulates Tariq Rahman. And you must also understand that this alliance, there is a undercurrent of alliance between the BNP and the Awami League against the Jamaat. So the radical section, which was in power, the Muhammad Yunus section, the Asif Nazrul section, they have been outvoted and literally kicked out of Bangladesh. These people should be tasked with the onus of having destroyed Bangladesh cricket. They are the ones who made sure that the Bangladesh players weren't allowed to play in this World Cup. They are the ones who made sure that a stupid thing happened when an issue which was a bilateral issue was blown out of proportion and made into a global issue with India being the target, and you made it into an issue against the ICC. You thought we will up the political ante, and with our newfound love for Pakistan, we will be able to win this and rally the ICC. The result was absolutely the opposite. 14-2 in that vote at the ICC board. And Bangladesh and Pakistan realized that this unholy alliance isn't going to work. And Aminul Islam Bulbul, the president of the BCB, was actually a mere puppet in this whole matter. Bulbul, from the first day, and we know this, Bulbul and the Bangladesh Cricket Board wasn't in favor of the boycott. We know that they were willing to or wanting to play the World Cup because that's what the Bangladesh players wanted to do. We know that the Bangladesh board was keen on that. Having said that, with the radical political establishment in power, no one dared to question the authority of Asif Nazrul. If you think of Liton Dash in that press conference looked absolutely, how do I put it, looked absolutely out of place when he said they don't even know, there was no contact between the government and the players when a decision was being taken on their behalf by the government. On the 21st of January, Asif Nazrul, with a lot of political bluster, stands and says that the call is one and only by the government of Bangladesh. The same man with very little spine decides to completely 360-degree turnaround in that meeting at the Dhaka University, because I think by then they would have read the writing on the wall that they were going out of power, they were being kicked out of power, they were being outvoted and outdone and outsmarted in the national elections, and it's not helping their cause. That's where Asif Nazrul completely changed track and said that the call was taken by the players and the Bangladesh Cricket Board. He put the entire onus on the players and the Bangladesh Cricket Board and went on to say that he salutes them for the call, etc., etc. So Brutus is an honorable man. Realizing that there was a tremendous amount of social media backlash. If you actually go and watch some shows in Bangladesh, local TV, take the show on NTV Sports, for example, done by Borshon Kobir, which featured Ashraful Haq. They took Asif Nazrul to the cleaners. They were being gracious and polite, but they were basically saying that this man is not sticking to his word. It's a radical turnaround. He's actually lying. They even use the word that we are not saying it's a lie, but frankly, it's far from the truth. So within Bangladesh, there was a significant backlash. And because of that backlash, Asif Nazrul had to clarify on social media that his comments had been misinterpreted. By the way, nothing had been misinterpreted. Every word that he had said was being interpreted in the manner that it ought to be. Now Asif Nazrul is history. All this, the last couple of years of total misrule should be or expected to be history. There should be renewed cooperation and dialogue between India and Bangladesh. And what this means for the South Asian geopolitics is that India and Bangladesh might well decide to come together, and Bangladesh will extend an olive branch to India as far as world cricket is concerned. Because Bangladesh knows very well that without India, there is no world cricket. Without India, it is not possible at all. If there is one big brother in the cricket world, that is India. And the power resides with India. The commerce resides with India. The financial power resides with India. Maybe that's why Aminul Islam Bulbul decided to come to Colombo to try and mend fences with the BCCI top brass, to try and reach out to the BCCI top brass and have a dialogue, clearly have a dialogue to try and overcome the differences that had crept in. Aminul Islam Bulbul is expected to do that. And with the Tariq Rahman win, with the Bangladesh Nationalist Party win, with the Prime Minister of India tweeting, with all of these developments, if I take at the background, it could well be that you will see new wave in geopolitics in South Asia between India and Bangladesh. And if that happens, within the ICC board, I, for example, will not be surprised if the vote, which is 14-2 at the moment, turns into a 15-1 decision against Pakistan. So for all of Mohsin Naqvi's bluster, for all of newfound brotherhood for Bangladesh, for all of newfound love for Bangladesh, for traveling to Bangladesh in 2025 and trying to do everything to woo them, to try and mislead Bangladesh into not playing the World Cup, to try and say that, oh, you know what, our boycott was because of Bangladesh and we wanted to show solidarity. All of this is actually falling flat with the win of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Frankly, Mr. Naqvi, people are seeing through this lie. People will see through what this ploy was of trying to befriend Bangladesh in a manner which is clandestine and in a manner which is not going to help the geopolitics or the peace in South Asia. So my assumption is that because of this nationalist, the win of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, you might well see a renewed phase of India-Bangladesh cooperation and dialogue, and as a result of which, the entire power dynamic in the ICC which had kind of got Mohsin Naqvi close to Asif Nazrul, will now be a thing of the past. If that happens, that's a big, big blow for Pakistan. Anyway, Pakistan stood isolated, Pakistan stood alienated, Pakistan only had the support of Bangladesh. And now, what can also happen is that Pakistan will perhaps be 115 in the ICC's board. So for all this newfound false bravado and big talk, you are left with one vote, and that is your self-vote. What does that do for Pakistan cricket? How much pressure does it exert on the Pakistan players ahead of the India match to see this geographical realignment or geopolitical realignment of South Asia? What does that mean? So a lot of these questions are looming in the background now after the win of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. Number two, coming to the India versus Pakistan game. Pakistan is supposed to practice from 50 minutes, in exactly 50 minutes from now at the Khetrama. The Khetrama Stadium is about 10 minutes from here, like I said. You can walk from here, which we are very close at this point in time. Pakistan will practice under lights at the Khetrama, and today is Pakistan's practice under lights. Tomorrow is India's practice under lights. Tomorrow, Pakistan will be playing or practicing rather between 2 and 5 in the afternoon. So that's the practice schedule. Some of the questions that I was asked, one question, for example, which I was asked is, now that Pakistan, was here, does that give Pakistan the advantage? Absolutely does. Exactly like the way India had an advantage in Dubai during the Champions Trophy, similarly, Pakistan has the advantage of being here in Colombo with the acclimatization already done and a lot already accomplished. So Pakistan does have that advantage, and one has to keep that in mind. I've got my phone to take your questions. Bear with me. Let me set it up in the next 7-8 minutes, and I will try and answer as many questions as possible. So don't worry about the fact that I will not take questions. I will. We've got time. 6 o'clock, like I told you, is the Pakistan practice. 9 p.m. is when the Indian team lands in Colombo. They are staying at the ITC, just opposite the Pakistan team hotel, the Cinnamon Life. So we will again bring you the arrival visuals. We will bring you the airport shots. We will bring you the team arriving at the ITC. So all the visuals and all of the updates you will continue to get on Rev Sports. Coming to the India versus Pakistan game. The big question, does Pakistan have an advantage because of the acclimatization? And the answer is yes. Pakistan has 2 practice sessions at the Premadasa. India will have 1. Also, if anyone says that, oh, you know what, but Pakistan did not get to practice at the Premadasa, India also did not get to practice in the Dubai International Stadium during the Champions Trophy. The truth is, India was practicing in the ICC Academy. The acclimatization does help. So in this case, that kind of will bridge the gap. India is a much better quality team. It will kind of bridge the gap between the Pakistan team and the Indian side. Now coming to selection. Basically 3 questions. 1, is Rinku Singh going to miss out, or is Rinku Singh's form a cause of alarm? And is it right to say that in place of Rinku Singh, India can or should consider Washington Sundar? That's question number 1. Question number 2, what about Kuldeep Yadav? Kuldeep Yadav has had a fantastic record against Pakistan for the longest time. Even in the Asia Cup final, you will remember, 4 for 30 from Kuldeep Yadav decimated Pakistan and finished them off for 146, which India then chased down with Tilak Verma playing an absolute stunner. Number 3, Kuldeep Yadav, that ball against Babar Azam, will forever be one of the best balls that he has bowled. So is it important for India to kind of think about Kuldeep Yadav, somebody who has had a stellar record against Pakistan as part of his career? So that's your question number 3. Also, will India play, like I said, Washington Sundar for Rinku Singh? And what about Abhishek Sharma? Because Abhishek Sharma question is doing the rounds, that suppose he obviously is available. That is why he's traveling with the team to Colombo. Now, suppose Abhishek Sharma is around 80% or 85% fit. Should India risk Abhishek Sharma? Now, that's the plain, straight, fair question that is being asked. My answer is also pretty straightforward to this one, and it's a yes. Because after the Pakistan match, for 7 odd days, India has a break. You will play Netherlands. Yes, India has already qualified for the Super 8. If they win against Pakistan, it's done deal sealed. So when you play against Netherlands, for example, there is no reason for India not to give rest to Abhishek Sharma. If it is necessary, you rest Abhishek Sharma during the match against the Netherlands. There is zero reason, if he's 80-90% fit, for him to be rested during the match against Pakistan. Because look, all said and done, the Pakistan game is the final before the final. It is a mega spectacle. Now you might say Pakistan is not good enough as a team. All that is fine, but the political baggage that is associated with this particular game makes it a very, very different proposition. And if India does have an Abhishek Sharma fit and available, he ought to play, even if he's 80 to 85% fit, because the kind of mental disintegration that Abhishek Sharma can impose on the opponent is going to be enough. If Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan gets off to a flyer against Pakistan, that could well dent the confidence of the Pakistan team. So in that sense, according to me, Abhishek Sharma can and should be given the nod, even if he is 70 to 80% fit, or maybe a little more. Abhishek Sharma not being there will be a bit of a psychological issue and will make Pakistan feel a lot better rather than when Abhishek Sharma is in fact there. So that's the kind of selection issue. So Kuldeep Yadav possibly for an Arshdeep Singh, because Arshdeep Singh hasn't really been in the greatest of form, having conceded a bit too many for my liking. This is a wicket where the spinners have come into play. They will come into play. There is assistance on offer. There is turn on offer. The wicket is kind of getting a little slower and keeping a little low as the match progresses. So all of these things kept in mind, I think Kuldeep Yadav does make a very strong case for himself for inclusion in the Indian final 11 against Pakistan. So what's the possible 11? The possible 11 is Abhishek Sharma, if 80% fit, as I said, I would play him. Abhishek Sharma, Ishan Kishan. After that, it's pretty straightforward. Tilak Varma, Surya Kumar Yadav, Aksar Patel, Hardik Pandya, Shivam Dubey. And here's the one which is tricky. Either it's Rinku Singh or it's Washington Sundar. I think with the number of left-handers in the Pakistan rank, especially in the middle order and the lower middle order, if you think of it, somebody like a Shaheen Afridi who can wield the long handle, somebody like a Fahim Ashraf who won them the match against the Netherlands. These people, if you have an off-spinning option in your repertoire, there's no reason why you would not employ that option. So I would say Abhishek Sharma, at that point in time. So Abhishek Sharma, 80%, get him in. Middle order, in place of Rinku Singh, you might well tend to think about Washington Sundar, because that Hobart match was a clear indication that Washington Sundar is good enough to bat as a finisher. 18 ball 50 doesn't come too often. And to take the Australians to task is obviously a commendable achievement. So Washington Sundar too makes a pretty strong case for inclusion in this Indian setup in the match against Pakistan. Finally, I think Arshdeep Singh makes way for Kuldeep Yadav, or possibly can, because Kuldeep Yadav and Pakistan is a dreamy love affair. Kuldeep Yadav has done exceedingly well against Pakistan for the last few years, and there is no reason why, after the Asia Cup, for example, that Kuldeep will not repeat his performance. So for Kuldeep to be left out could well be a psychological advantage that Pakistan manages to get out of this. I don't think the Indian management or the Indian think tank will be willing to concede that ground to Pakistan. So Kuldeep Yadav will be a serious subject of debate as far as India is concerned. Okay, now, when we've kind of analyzed this, what does this mean for the World Cup? An Indian win, according to me, will be routine. The Pakistan win, on the other hand, could well be an upset or a how do I put it, an underdog result in favor of Pakistan. So an Indian win will be routine. India, the better quality side. India has beaten Pakistan multiple times in the recent past. A Pakistan win will always be, at this point in time, against India, this juncture, Pakistan win will possibly be an aberration of sorts. So this is where the matter is. We've given you the team compositions. We've given you the details of this. We've given you, exactly what transpired or what can transpire in Bangladesh and what impact it might have on the South Asian geopolitics. Finally, uh, Australia absolutely kind of taken to the cleaners by Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe was brilliant, 169 for two in in their 50 overs. What does that mean again? 169 for two means Zimbabwe did not really throw caution to the winds and kind of go hammer and tongs at every ball and could get bowled out for 150. 170 means it was a well calibrated call that this is what we will possibly need. This is where the matter should be headed. So let's think about it. I thought Zimbabwe did it very well. Uh, if there was one or two players in that lineup which have expat roots or connections, that we will have to see. But the fact of the matter is, Zimbabwe, by beating Australia, has really turned the leaf once again. They've opened up their World Cup. They are now on two wins in two matches. Australia and Sri Lanka on Monday becomes a virtual kind of knockout, because if Australia loses that particular game, if they lose to Sri Lanka, they are done. And Australia getting away of the tournament pretty early is not something one would have expected, is not something that generally happens in a World Cup. And it will also mean that Zimbabwe qualifies for the Super 8 and will be in India's group and is likely to play the 26th of February match against India at the Chepauk Stadium in Chennai. So that's the kind of background as far as the Australia loss against Zimbabwe is concerned. Let me take questions. It's just that there are too many. Shubhendu Mondol, Varun Chakravarti should be played alongside Kuldeep Yadav. That's spin duo, absolutely lethal. There's no debate, Shubhendu, that Varun Chakravarti will play. Where is the question coming about Varun Chakravarti? Shogato, what's the weather forecast for Sunday's game? Watch the 7 p.m. show. Rohit Juglan actually traveled to the Colombo Met Department, spoke to the meteorological officer. We are going to bring you the Colombo Met Department's prediction for Sunday at 7 p.m. So you must watch that report by Rohit Juglan, which we are putting out in Rev Sports Hindi very shortly, and in English at around 7 p.m., 7 p.m. sharp rather, where the Met Office talks in detail about the possible weather interruptions or prediction for the India-Pakistan game. Shubhendu, I've taken that. The so-called mighty Aussies got packed up so fast, they probably thought it was just a practice session. Well done, Zimbabwe. Shubhendu again. Deepak Hira. Hello, Boryada. Absolutely. Hello, my friend. Bruce Street. Australia had never beaten Zimbabwe in a T20 World Cup. Yes. What an incredible record that is. I am Zone. Australia out of the World Cup. Come to India or not. Australia not yet out of the World Cup. If they beat Sri Lanka, then the group becomes wide open again, end zone. If Australia isn't out of the World Cup, then obviously they will come. But if they are out of the World Cup, then obviously they'll have to pack their bags and go home. Ashu Divedi, love from India, Indore, Boria sir, absolutely. And what a beautiful city Indore is. One of India's cleanest cities. I love the I Am Indore campus, and my friend Himanshu Rai had invited me there a couple of months earlier. I absolutely love that I Am Indore campus. And it's a beautiful, beautiful city. Beautiful city. End zone, Australia, I've taken that. Dr. Devopriyo, 3 upsets predicted. Zimbabwe, Australia, West Indies, Nepal, and India versus Pakistan. Where India loses, really concerned about our batters' poor form against spinners, wide off deliveries in a big ground. I understand where you're coming from. I totally get where you're coming from, but I do think this is largely unfounded, because I don't see there to be any problem. I don't see the batters having any real problem against somebody like Usman Tariq. Now let me tell you this. Shubhayan actually was speaking to a very well-known cricket coach in India. And he said, "Aapne to itna spinners ka bhi coaching karaye hai. So suppose Usman Tariq comes and holds the ball here and sort of takes that pause ahead of delivery, what do you do?" And the coach said something very, very interesting. He said, "Pull out. You are well within your rights to pull out and stand on one side if the bowler decides to pause in his delivery stride." Now, suppose India does that. Does that amount to breach? Will that result in bad blood between India and Pakistan? Can Indian board afford to not do it? Will the Pakistan board get alarmed because India is trying to do this? In every way, this is an option. This is an option for sure. So you have to keep all of these things in mind. Okay, Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan. with BNP winning, BCB trying to come to good terms, do you see India-Bangladesh bilateral happening in September? That's what I said yesterday, that with the BNP winning and the whole atmosphere changing, or hopefully will change, I don't see any reason why there shouldn't be a bilateral series if there is peace across the border. The idea is to ensure peace across the border. The idea is to ensure that there is no volatility across the border. Only then will India send its cricket series. At this point in time, the symbols are good. The symbols are definitely good as far as India is concerned. BNP has already thanked Indian PM 100%, and that's what I said. That Prime Minister Modi had tweeted, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party has already reciprocated. So these are all important steps, and correctives have been put in place rather than one party monopolizing the whole process. And in that sense, the Bangladesh elections could change the face of geopolitics in South Asia going forward. Shobha, Ramesh Kumar, whatever. Sir, whatever government Bangladesh has, we Indian citizens don't want any ties with these anti-Indian nations. I don't think it's an anti-Indian nation per se. I think the radical establishment had taken over the last few years, and that's what kind of forced them to become radical for a while. I don't think that that is the case. I absolutely do not think that that is the case. Ramesh Kumar, whichever government Bangladesh, we Indian citizens, I just took that. Uh, uh, just took that. Match washout forecast looming? No, I don't think match washout forecast looming at all. We will put out the Met Department weather report at 7 p.m., which has been done by Rohit Juglan in Colombo. Take a look at that Met Department weather report, exactly what they're saying. From the apps, what we are getting to know is that there could be passing showers, there could be a few sort of spells of drizzle, but I absolutely don't think that the match has any reason to get washed out. Like this video, guys, says Deepak Hira. This is all, no one needs to like or dislike or do anything until and unless you genuinely enjoy this show. If you do, then absolutely do like it. Rupayan Gohaniyogi, rain update. How the weather now and Sunday. Now the weather is fine. In fact, all day today there has been zero interruption. The Khetarama is just minutes away, so the weather will be the same at the Khetarama. There was one attempt, which was politically volatile, was interpreted as a security breach, was taken up by the military, and that a couple of hours earlier was settled once and for all. Ankit Kumar Jha, when Indian team reached, please tell, I told you, India will land in Colombo around 9 p.m. They are supposed to leave Delhi around 6 p.m. and it takes 3 hours. They will come by a charter. It takes about 3 hours to come and land in Colombo and another 45 minutes for them to come to the ITC Ratnadweep. So even if they have a green corridor, which I'm assuming they will, it will take about 45 minutes or so. So expect the Indian team to check into the hotel around 9:30, 9:45, 10 p.m. at night. This is the first time since Bangladesh's independence that a Hindu MP has been elected from Dhaka. Good signs. At least liberalism is trying to make its way back, and hopefully the Jamaat and the radical prime minister, or rather the radical management in power, has become history. Ankit Jha, when Team India has reached, please tell. You've asked the same question 6 times. Ankit, don't please do that because it kind of cramps the whole political this thing. If you rather take one at a time, there will be many more that one can answer. Ankit Kumar Jha, when Indian team reached, please tell. I've already answered that. Shogato 91, don't you think we are seeding of the groups in the Super 8 stage is not fair? Fair, unfair, people have accepted it. That's what it is. In life, nothing is really fair. I understand what you're talking about and what you are saying. Then how do you kind of distinguish between a lot of these teams, whether it's a Germany and Australia, Netherlands, or Belgium, or Japan? These are all relatively big teams, and India will have to work very, very hard to try and make the podium for the 3rd consecutive time. Freaking awesome. Australia should blame themselves for today's loss. We have been discussing about teams to cross Zimbabwe. What about rain? Rain, like I told you, you don't play for rain. There are chances of showers. There are chances of kind of intermittent showers in the afternoon. And tomorrow, there are chances of showers as well, which could mean that practice timings of both teams might just get impacted. So M Zone breaking on 15. There is some big news coming from the stadium. Is it a bomb blast? What? Ashok, can you check? Has there been a bomb blast somewhere? Breaking on 15th, there is some big news coming from the stadium. It's about the match. Getting a match. No, there's nothing nothing that I've heard. I don't want to say anything yet. Until and unless I check myself, I will not be able to comment. I will check and comment for sure. Shogato, I've taken yours. Jagateshwar Singh, Pakistan practice live start karo. Pakistan practice is at 6 p.m. 6 to 9 p.m. is Pakistan practice. Shubhayan and Rohit and Devashish and Ashok and Gargi and I will all be, Shomik, we will all be at the Premadasa to try and understand the last practice session. And thereafter, हम जल्दी से जल्दी live आपके साथ जरूर करेंगे. But I don't think there is any such thing as a bomb threat or anything like that. Australia will not travel to India or not? 100% Australia will. Who has said Australia will not travel? Deepak Hira, like me video, guys. Deepak, try and like his videos. Crick 73, rain going to reverse, affect the match. There, as I said, could affect the match. That's what I'm hearing, that there is chance of rain. There are, passing showers predicted for the Sunday, for sure. Will rain, Crick 73, I've answered your question. Answer on board, 3 questions, update on Abhishek, weather report, and have you seen Ashwin's comments on Tariq? Did you see him see Zimbabwe versus Australia? How is the hype for India-Australia? Today's pitch. Where is India-Australia? India-Australia might not even happen. If you ask India-Pakistan hype, the hype is palpable. The hype is fantastic. The hype is tremendous. But where is India-Australia? India-Australia might not even take place if Australia lose against Sri Lanka. In that case, it will be Zimbabwe who will be qualifying as the second team. And in that case, it will be India versus Zimbabwe in Chennai and not India versus Australia. North Zone. Australia will travel. Of course, Australia will travel here, North Zone. Pushpendu Chakraborty. Boryada, good evening. Hence proved him yesterday's match. India is not playing. India is not playing, spin well and a bit threatening in Sunday's match. What do you say? Okay, the Indian team composition is what you are asking, saying 4 spinners, etc. We've already discussed that in detail. I've given you my suggestive team as well. No matches of Australia are in Sri Lanka. No, all matches, of course, because they are in the same hotel. They are in the same hotel as I am. Multiple teams, 4 or 5 teams are staying in the same hotel. And yes, Australia definitely one of them. Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan. Now possibility of India-Bangladesh bilateral series, absolutely is there. Pushpendu, Boryada, good evening. Hence proof from yesterday's match, India is not playing or spin well, and it's playing spin well, bit threatening in Sunday's match. What do you say? It did not depend on yesterday's match to be able to prove that India plays spin decently and that it's threatening on a Sunday if there is work. So you've got to understand that. Suman Avasti, Abhishek can play as a pinch hitter. If he gets going 15-20 balls, he will bowl Pakistan under gesture, under pressure. Absolutely sure. Pakistan will be under pressure if Abhishek Sharma and Ishan Kishan decide, the management decides that these are the 2 fellows who will open for India. There is no question that Pakistan will be under enormous pressure because these 2 from ball go will make it a relentless attack and they will not hold back. Even if there is an opportunity or a chance, they will not hold back. They will try and hit the next ball for 6. This is the new T20 template that Abhishek Sharma has kind of evolved. And this is the T20 template that Gautam Gambhir keeps talking about. Okay. Shanta Lakshmi, Washi should play if he's fit. He's good against pace and spin. Maybe handy spin is possible. Yes, like I said, Washington Sundar does have the versatility that a Rinku Singh doesn't. Rinku Singh playing as finisher, unfortunately hasn't been able to come good, but I also want to put this on record that Rinku Singh has just got 2 opportunities. So it's not as if time is running out for Rinku Singh or anything like that. But this is an India-Pakistan game. This is a World Cup match, for God's sake. And you've got to keep in mind that you will have to put your best foot forward and the team that is most likely to win. Now, in that team, does Rinku Singh fit in? Or does Washington Sundar make a comeback? My personal assessment is Washington Sundar is a good enough T20 player. And if you have to go, I think it makes a decent amount of sense to go with Washington Sundar. Time for me to close the show because we have to leave for the Pakistan practice in just a bit. Pakistan will start practicing on 6 p.m. You will get a lot of detail, every possible detail broken on Rev Sports. And thereafter, we will come live again when the Indian team arrives in Colombo at the airport and thereafter from the team hotel. So you will get all of the build-up from the India-Pakistan match. For the moment, that's all I have for you. Thank you very much for watching.